Okay, so I'm chairing today's meeting on behalf of Rick, who is absent this evening. So I said, let's say the meeting is called to order 7:35. Is that 7:38? Yeah, okay. So let's review the minutes. I read them when Bettina, it's really hard to have Christina. And now we have Melinda and Bettina.
Yeah.
Which is Belinda.
Few people are doing like that.
Anyway, did everyone else have a chance to review the minutes?
I'm sorry, I'm doing it.
Okay. Are you okay with it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll second that motion. All in favor of approving the minutes as they stand?
Aye.
Yeah. Any opposed? So that's 4 yeses and 0 noes. I don't see any members of the public. If you're on there, please say something.
Jeff Karen is here.
No, he's a special guest.
Okay.
Or, I mean,
Do I need to note that in the minutes?
I usually know that.
I'll just stand and look at it in case. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, we just want to be appropriate. Okay, so there's no public comment other than agenda items. So item 3, the Sunshine Act meeting, this is kind of related to what we're saying, but Maggie Dobbs wants all of the commissions to have somebody attend this meeting to learn more about the sunshine laws, and there are plenty of people who don't really understand it or know the purpose of it. But it's a really important thing, especially for small local governments, because, no, we can't approve of money being spent without members of the community who pay the taxes. You know what I mean? So sometimes, to me, it's a really important thing. I'm a big proponent of it. But anyway, so Maggie Dobbs, the borough manager, is holding this meeting June 11th, 6 p.m. I currently have it on my calendar. I don't, anyone else is.
I cannot attend that day, so.
Okay, you're not.
I want to attend, but I can't attend. But I said Maggie, And
Oh, good.
when I first joined the commission, I think they sent me that Rick will ask questions document, and Rick sent me that.
Yeah.
So this is what.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're familiar with it, it's not that complicated, and it certainly makes a lot of sense to me. So I'll plan to attend and I can report back.
Okay. I think she said she was gonna distribute some.
She did.
Or she already just.
No, I'm saying.
She'll send us some
Yeah,
document.
Yeah, I
She
believe
said-
the presentation is a PowerPoint that's provided from PA.
oh, that's right.
So I have that as well, so if she doesn't look at that, I'll send it out.
What were you gonna say, Dawn?
Just, and there's some document that's embedded in the email invitation or rec that, and helps.
I have to check that. I'm pretty sure I responded to that.
Anyone wants to respond or head count.
Yeah, makes sense. I think she said she's ordering food.
Okay.
Okay, spring planting. What Rick has written here is reporting. Maybe it's time for us to tell the Borough Council what he meant by reporting. I reported to the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society.
Reporting what, how many you planted?
Yeah, I guess it just says reporting. I guess that's probably what he meant, don't you?
Can you report to PHS to report the number of their trees planted or the total number of trees?
No,
planted?
just there, because it's for their funding stuff. You know, they need to know how many trees are planted from there. Tree vitalize trees.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know. I wrote that thing that they put in the borough newsletter about how many trees are planted and how many volunteers.
Right, we did do that, yeah.
Well, so I guess for this agenda item, we would say that we have reported to PHS and to the borough newsletter, but maybe we're supposed to, we should make something more formal to
Why don't we,
the committee that we are accountable to. Like,
We asked
you
for it.
went, I went once.
We can,
I'll check with Rick.
yeah, we will.
Carson will check with her, because I can send something to Jean Burdock and tell her that we'll come to the meeting to report if she'd like. Okay. Anything else on spring planting reporting? Thanks to Tina for following up on Colin Jones.
So, yes,
And Rick did have a chance to check it, and he thinks, let's see how it
yeah,
does.
I mean, it's not dead, it's just,
Yeah,
like the parts that are not growing are cut out, it might be misshapen, but
yeah.
it will grow. There was one woman who contacted me because she said, half my tree is dead. Should I prune it?
The one that we just planted?
Yeah.
Jimmy and I, and
And I was wondering because it's one of those red buds that
Yeah.
apparently there was a problem with, so
Yeah.
that was why I asked Rick whether
yeah.
I asked them for another one.
Which one was it from,
It's the one
PHS
that
or?
was-
No, it was.
So that was one of the.
With tree authority, and there was a mix up with the red buds, they didn't
Okay.
have them, or he said they hadn't.
And it was a different species or what?
Species.
Yeah, because my red bud from them split. And
That's right, that's
had
the
to-
one that you had.
Yeah, and
Sorry
actually,
about that.
little dead thing, and I planted it because I'm like, oh, it looks weird, and it's growing like a plant. It's about like this big, because I was gonna get rid of it. It's like a little bush like that, so, but yeah, so let's note that
Yeah,
maybe
I
we should
think
get
before
red buds from them.
before the fall planting, we should see if replace her.
Yeah,
Just tell me if she's okay with keeping it.
Okay, so we should have that on our September agenda then, or August agenda.
what's her address? Like where?
Virginia and I were, 105 Rockland, the bottom of Rockland, right where Wingwood
It's
is.
actually on.
Her neighbor,
Like,
her neighbor is actually on Wingwood Road. And we planted right there. It's really technically on Windward Road, where Rockland ends
okay.
at Windward Road. She has it on that side, very close to her house is right there on Windward, but where Rockland ends. Okay. So now let's talk about prospects for fall planting. I see here Rick mentions Chris Chambers. I think that's a good idea. He's a guy who has planted, I think, 9. So his party's been really
Wow.
great.
yes, but I was saying the last time,
No more.
his wife was very
Oh,
anti-tree, and so if she does not want the trees,
Yeah.
maybe
I don't mind asking him.
consider.
I can ask him, but yeah. Prospects. And then Robin Curry, I'll ask her, but she is really difficult to work with. I'm surprised he's mentioning that. Maybe she has said something. Okay.
Has she gotten trees in the past?
Only, that would be spring of 24, and then she didn't water them full summer. I asked her a million times. I asked her if I could just get a bucket and fill it in her hose, and
She
I
said
would
no.
water 'em. She said, "Oh no, my husband waters them every Sunday." Yeah, these trees are not going to water. But anyway, so I will follow up with both
Okay,
Chambers and Curry.
okay.
Now, I wanted to raise something that I was
I think Dawn had something she wanted to.
Oh, good, you have
Okay,
some?
go ahead.
Your neighbors across the street, I was wondering about them, your new
They
neighbors.
have a couple little, you can't.
I saw, yeah,
I think I can definitely ask that, but I was also thinking about just thinking of that letter to Tina Road and walking around and hand delivering, like there's Windsor, there's, and Katie Skeen had contacted us about Stevens Place.
oh,
And
right.
so, and I know Bettina already dropped them off, so I thought I figured out who. I have it, so I just like, I know my random walks around Harvard, and I just put them on people's doors.
I put them in people's mailboxes, but I did keep a list of who I did it to, so I did, we don't like go back to the same people.
But also you can't, we can't put.
Oh, right, we're not allowed to put it in the mailbox.
Yeah.
We can mail it to them, we could put it in
Yeah.
a letter mail, but you can't put anything.
Oh, really?
I learned that, yeah.
Okay, well, I just sort of like propped it
In the,
halfway in,
Like a pizza.
like a flyer,
Pizza
yeah.
tower, like, yeah,
so I
yeah,
can,
that's
I can either
technically.
take that letter and mail it, or I can just put it in their door, or.
Yeah, okay.
So, but my question is like, are you for planting in November? Do I do that in September? Do I do that?
No, we need to do
now?
it sooner because we have to order, usually the order deadline is immediately after Labor Day.
Right,
Or I think last year it might have been before Labor
So
Day.
August is good?
Yeah,
So I'll do that.
and I was kind of hoping, here's what I had on my mind today. What if we, the four of us, said, because if you look at the map of Narberth, like, I could do all the streets in South, whatever that's called.
Yeah.
Like every single one of them. And just walk the streets and say, oh, look, there's a spot where a plant, a tree could go
Mhm.
in the front. Where maybe we need, and then you guys can figure out a way to divide fairly all of the streets in, like maybe you would take.
Yeah.
And it's like, walking is like, my exercise. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
right? So
I would be
I
happy
don't
to
think
do
these
that
three
too.
streets
So
today.
how do you think, do you have a condition of them, Jeff?
The best map that we use, that we
Yeah.
tend to use for a lot of things, is the spring cleanup
I
map.
was just gonna say, but it's good.
Let's do
Yeah, good one.
So
let's
it's pretty solar
Nah.
map that we have,
yeah.
that's kind of.
And it's even zoned and
Yeah.
like, already zoned.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you guys wanna say, I'll do this one and I'll do that one?
Yeah.
Is it four zones?
5. So there's 4 on the side and the south side.
Use that.
South side is one.
We're very small on this side. We're condensed on this side. Because I mean, it seems bigger the south side if you wanted me to do half of the south side.
It's not that big. I
Okay.
know most of the people,
Okay.
a
Yeah,
lot of people. It's pretty clean up. I really like that. Wait, but so do you guys have the other ones divided among you?
Well, we could just use that mapping.
Mhm.
I mean, I
Give me a
did part of zone one because I walked around, Sabine and Country and,
Wait, when did you do that?
well, before planting.
Okay, so we should.
But I don't want to go back to the same houses necessarily.
Oh,
That's okay.
well, somebody at Natural Lands Trust somebody who does fundraising told me you have to ask someone 5 times
Mhm.
before they really can hear you,
Mhm.
usually.
I think people get annoyed by getting multiple.
you know what, can we make it, I love the letter, can we make it a 2? And I'd be happy to do this, make it 2 smaller, so we could do 2, make it more like a little flyer this time.
Yeah.
So it's not, and then we could go back to a letter like later, do you know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
So it looks a little bit different,
Different, yeah.
Oh, I think that's a smart idea.
and it's less paper.
I did like the idea of having the trees listed though, because sometimes.
No, all of the information was great, maybe
Yeah.
let me figure out if I can make
Okay,
it
yeah,
smaller,
yeah,
or even 2-side or something, yeah,
yeah. Two sides.
yeah.
Now, wait, did Rick do sort of a standard list that wasn't specific, very specific to the species, but just like elm, or like medium, or how did he do it so he had it only like sort of the basic way you can describe a tree, rather than say
Species.
it looks like Don remembers.
Messy folder.
That's good.
That's impressive.
Well. It's a mixed bag.
Your neighbor.
Have you heard anything about Kelsey with the website, or, because we could send people to.
That's on, I mean,
But she's still working on
no, that's on me now. Like, I have to get to Kelsey. Like, we're not waiting on
it. Oh,
her. Yeah, no, that's still me.
Yeah, we're pretty far along.
Oh, that website, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the real website, yeah. How is that?
New website, I think all their designs are done.
Awesome.
So, yeah, they really kind of wrote it, so
Oh, never, that's great.
I would imagine that would be on a plane for council to yea or nay.
Okay.
Next month or two.
Oh,
And
perfect.
then-
They have a
That's
very-
awesome.
So I think prior to that going live is when we'll start
A month
contacting.
later.
Okay.
Yeah.
What you want on your page and, okay. Oh, that's awesome, okay.
What if we put?
Because I do feel like the sooner we can have a QR
Yeah,
code. where we
or a
can
link,
say,
yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we could just
And it
like
looks
say,
really.
these plus
it is
more.
a
It's great.
cool website.
Great.
That's great.
Good pictures.
Who did it?
Available. and-
Kelsey did it with the,
With an agency.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you, I'm just,
I wrote it down, but I forgot what she said.
Something, yeah, we could word it.
Yeah.
That doesn't,
We're not, they know what.
When she said it at Brandon Bell's, I
Can't do it, they can write the
Yeah,
Foxborough Hall.
right, yeah, exactly.
Okay, so should we set a deadline for by when? Okay, so what's our
so I
our
can
first step
reformat.
is the three of you that know what streets you're doing.
Mm-hmm,
But that's,
yeah.
Then step two is what's the content that we want Christina to put on this?
do you have this, I have this letter.
Oh,
Could
good.
be the thing that,
Do we have an electronic copy of that?
Yes, it's in the folder.
Great.
So how did he describe the trees? Is it
is
in
it for
general?
trees available, small trees, medium trees,
Yeah.
large trees?
That's
And
what
that
we
could go
want.
on the back. And then
on the back.
Bettina and I talked about it where it says trees available this spring, it could be like trees available this fall, or trees.
Worded so you're not, like,
So
keep
it's not-
it more general, so
Yeah.
it's like small trees, like, for
These are the kinds
example.
of trees we usually have available,
Yeah.
or something like that.
I think you've written that before, Christina.
Me, I don't know that I did species. I'm looking where.
No, but I feel like you've
We're
written a
not-
couple of things that
Oh,
said,
yeah, planet, sure. But,
because I think the key thing for people to know is we do have to order them in the summer for planting in November, because I think people get confused saying, oh, I'll let them know in November I want a tree.
Mhm.
And I do think one of the lessons we've learned lately is the more we can get from PHS, the better.
I think so.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
So it is in the, if you want to go use that as a template, Christina, or, I mean, I'm happy to do it too, but you're better with it.
It's in the documents.
It's in the Flyers logo
Flyer, sorry, I'm trying to find.
folder, and it's the first one.
Okay, great.
Shared with me.
Marketing letter.
Flyers logo, perfect. Targeted shade tree.
Yeah, that's the
Great.
one we use.
Great.
So we would just have to change the dates and maybe make it more vague as to.
Well, Lowell Marion Sustainability Committee, which I started following on Instagram, and I also get emails from the Shade Tree Commission in Lower Marion. They are right now advertising to get people to,
Right.
get a tree. So, because it does, the end of summer sneaks up, and of course,
Yeah.
Lower Marion is
Does, yeah.
such a larger scale than they are. Gosh. I wonder what imagine the difference in size between Norfolk and Lower Marion Township, God. Oh, heavens, that's funny.
it's
Oh,
people space or money.
well, I mean, I'm just thinking from Penwyn to Gladwin to Villanova, really, it's a lot of miles even,
Yeah, I think they maintain around 230 miles.
That's why it's huge.
Township roadways, that's not like state routes. that
Oh,
they
right.
plow.
Right,
The borough has 10.74.
right,
That's total, so.
yeah, right.
We're almost at money.
Yeah, we're tiny little. Well, I'd rather be doing it here than there, because, I can only imagine. Okay, so let's think this through. Should we let's put dates to this? Because, was it July we decided to skip the meeting and start again in August?
That's what we did last time, and I think that makes sense, because obviously we want to, be talking about
Okay.
planning, I think.
Oh, yeah. So, okay, so that means that, We could also do one of those, what are they called again, when you don't get things, you don't pass anything, you just do work? A working meeting?
Yeah,
Remember we did that for something last year, and it worked out really well.
yeah, we just went to your house and talked about
Oh, yeah.
Google.
Was that what we were talking about? I forget, but it works, but it worked really, I thought, worth the time, sure.
Yep.
Maybe after you survive the 4th of July, Christina?
Yeah. I'm sure that's, Jeff, do you work the 4th of July?
I'm here.
Oh, really? Yeah.
That's easier.
John, when are you in Vermont?
I'm in Vermont the week of July 4th.
So we might have to do it after that, because I think I need to be in Texas helping my daughter
Ah,
at that time, because I told her I'd come in late June and stay a week or two.
So
So-
I'm here, all the summer except for the week of July.
So like the 8th of July,
July.
is that okay for you, Christina?
yeah.
And Tina, what's your travel time?
Not anything scary.
So we could do a non-voting, non-official, whatever it's called, workshop.
Would still be the same thing, like 7:30 on a Tuesday.
So I was thinking, is that okay with you?
Okay. We don't necessarily have to do it here, we can do it at someone's house or.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
We can
July
also-
10th, did we say?
Well, it's Tuesday, but it doesn't matter to me. I mean,
Oh, Tuesday.
whoa, what was that?
Decide
Which
Sidewalk.
one?
where the steps here.
Oh, is that which noise?
It's a solid frame from first floor up here, with the windows, so there's not a give, so,
Oh, I see.
but it rattles the building.
Okay, so nothing on the 1st, but we will on the 8th.
Yeah. And I'm happy to have that at my house. I should check with Colette to see if my daughter needs me, maybe we can do it the following week.
Mhm.
The 15th. Wait, when aren't you going away in July, Christine?
I am, but yeah, I don't have it on my calendar, but we should. The last week of July.
Oh, okay.
Oh, excuse me, no, the 3rd, it's weird, July's 5th, the 4th.
Yeah, it's fine, Tuesdays.
Yeah. The week of the 20th.
Those are the months when I get a third paycheck. It's twice a year you get a third paycheck. It's 26 pays. No. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Jeff, are you paid bi-weekly from the firm? Oh, just bi-weekly. So do you have 2 months when you get more than
Mhm.
2? Yeah.
And what's lovely is where Nelson works, my wife, they changed her pay cycle. So now every Friday, one of us gets paid.
That's awesome.
For children, it is the best thing.
Oh, it is
Yeah.
really. You got the the preschool, like all that stuff.
It's just so much more comfortable, like the checks for daycare, school.
Oh, yeah.
Budgeting perspective.
Yeah.
So we can grocery stores.
I had one job where it was monthly, and I'm telling you, that is really hard.
Yeah.
I was also making pennies anyway,
That
so
makes it harder.
that makes it harder too. Okay. I will communicate about that. I just want to confirm with my daughter about how it may be there, so it'll be, and then I'll. Tentatively. Okay, so I guess, so do you all go along and say, hey, I have a obviously we can distribute the flyers, but I guess what I'm really thinking about is when you see a place, I have this obsession with 300 block of Conway, and also the 100 block of Chestnut. where it's just like, whoa, you know, there's a couple of places where, I mean, you've probably walked past streets where you're just like, oh, look at these trees. Because that's the other thing I was thinking, if there is a way that we can, actually write a note, like I would put my personal name on a note.
So I think with the flyer, like I would write like
Your
my name
name,
and then like,
Call me
my
if
personal
question.
little thing on each one, and
especially if you know
me or
me.
my phone number or my email or something.
Yeah, the more personal we can make it, the
Yeah.
better, I think, if we're comfortable with that. Anything else that we've talked about in the past about, trying, I guess, Christina, maybe when the, circle flyer is done, I could ask Kelsey again that idea of, I always forget if they use Survey Monkey or Constant Contact. I forget which one they use, but who was last one? Alan Tonenfeld? No, because sorry. He had told me that in the newsletter, the subscription they have to using it for newsletters, he had this option where he could do a single page thing, like take a flyer, do a single page thing, and distribute it out to the same list that gets the borough email. Change the subject line so people aren't expected
So
to.
they would just send our.
Right, but when I mentioned it to Kelsey, when she first started working here, she said, can we talk about this after I?
Yeah.
And I was like, absolutely.
Of course, we could send her, if that would be too much of a pain, we could also just give her the text and, give her an email, like I could give her an email graphic with text that she could send. So without having somebody click, like I could make a nice little graphic header
That's a good idea.
and then, right? Just so
She would construct the email and Kelsey would then just forward
copy and paste the email.
She doesn't have to use the constant contact.
Yeah, because then that's making sense. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't always, I'll star those emails and then come back to them at a later date. You should see how many I have starred right now. So if it's just there in the email and not making people click, that might,
Oh,
especially.
yeah, definitely.
So let me also do that. I think I might need to shorten this a little bit. I'll see.
Anything else that we've thought of in the past or something's popped in your head recently? I always think about the apartment building owners. We've never really done, we've talked about it. We've had a couple of times where apartment building owners.
I did deliver some flyers to houses that were clearly apartments. I just feel like, how do you contact those people? They're probably,
Who are the building managers? Yeah, it's the building managers.
And what's the best way to reach them?
Who has that information? Actually, I stare at you, Jeff.
Are you thinking apartment buildings or more like rental houses that are rented?
Oh, I think that's really tough to do.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, like,
I see
That's
like
true.
blank lots.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do the apartment buildings have? Oh, this is interesting as an aside. I think that all of those trees on Forest Avenue were replaced.
Yeah, so I'm doing it the other day. Yeah.
I wonder if they do that.
They-
One or two are.
Oh, did they replace the ones
They're not
that, the red buds?
They're
That were,
not red.
oh,
Red buds aren't typically a good sidewalk.
yeah.
Right.
There's
They're
a lot of
understood.
pruning.
What did they replace them with,
I have to get up close and personal.
Well, I looked at them, I took a picture and my app said it was like a oriental plum, which didn't
Ooh.
seem right, but who knows?
Oh, they weren't done.
They're just very small leaves and it's a very like petite looking.
Oh, so maybe it's not a native tree.
Everything else they planted there is native, so I'd be surprised if they did.
This is at the Elm, you mean?
Yeah.
I didn't realize they
Yeah, I was driving by and I'm like, oh, look at that. And I thought they were just doing the one that was dead. I didn't notice that they did all of them.
It's
Right, I know, I might not, like, where's the dead one? It's not dead anymore.
Well, I know one person who owns some apartments, Eli Holtman, but I got
Is
to,
he still here? I thought he was in Australia.
no, New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine. So when I was going
Yeah.
to New Zealand, I took something for him. So actually,
Oh, because he has
I bet
that
this-
gray apartment building where they did cut down that big tree.
which
Right?
one? On which street?
Windsor and Essex. I believe that's his, the two-tone.
Yeah.
They cut down that huge tree right there.
Check with him. The guy was really nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the one other thing that I just wanted to mention about planting, because I know I wasn't here last month. Are we going to sort of communicate regarding, we don't want you to plant, we don't want to plant a tree for you and then you dig it up a week later? What did we decide? What, did you guys discuss that last time?
We did discuss
I
it.
feel that's such an unusual circumstance. Has that ever happened before?
Well, we were talking about in general, making more clear to people that what their responsibilities are
Value.
and that what it costs to plant a tree. Buy a
That's
tree.
right. I'm sorry.
That's
We were
right.
going to make an Instagram post for that too. And just that would be a good email. It's, later this summer at that meeting, at our working meeting, let's come up with that language.
Yeah,
And we could put that a lot of places.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I noticed, forget if it's Conway or Dudley, but I had planted a tree for a friend of mine who then sold the house and the new people dug it up and got rid of the tree. But I guess they can do that. It's on their,
Yeah.
nothing we can do about that, right? John, if you don't mind, consider doing on your summer whenever you feel like it. But remember you had that idea of, looking online, and because I'm sure a lot of organizations have them, those little baseball cards.
Oh,
for
yeah,
trees.
so that's on my side.
Because I think you can probably just Google around. There's probably
I think,
done it
all
already.
good facts, like on some other sheet that I got, but I just need to find like an image of like, here's
Yeah,
the
exactly.
animal, and here's all the things about them.
You know, I got a great book that I just happened upon. It is, I should have brought it today. It's a really nice little book that was published in like 2017 by the Morse Arboretum. And it's like trees of Philadelphia area.
Oh, cool.
And it has all of pictures of all of the many trees, places where there are a lot of them, like arboretums or places in the city. And it has nice information about the trees and picture of the leaf and the tree shape. I can show you what that is because it's a nice, I ended up getting from the library in that well, but I used it because
Yeah,
I know this.
yeah, exactly.
And I also there's a Sibley guide to trees that's got nice pictures too. Not so much of the tree, not every page or every tree has like a picture of the shape of the tree, but they have leaf and lots of information.
I still think some organizations done it. I'm a big one for lifting. Someone else done work.
Yeah.
Chuck, Brian says maybe you've heard this in other meetings you've been in, but does the borough mail, are there rules about what the borough can mail to individual residents? Like put in an envelope and put postage on, are there rules about limits to that or something? I don't know how that
I
works.
can just find out and let you know. The only things we've ever mailed out is, we're doing certain work.
Yeah.
Our street, expect closures here, just like that.
And then the tax bill. And then when they did that earned income tax thing you got me, I can't think of many things that are mails out. Maybe when you're talking to Kelsey, you can ask her. I don't know. There's probably rules about it because it would be an expense.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't even mail out the calendar anymore.
I know.
So
I mean,
can't-
that's labor, addressing it and paying postage.
Yeah.
So it's more expensive than it may appear.
Right.
I
Just
can't even believe that. I wouldn't even.
But don't we mail out a calendar?
Oh, the
Well-
calendar, the city.
Oh, that was years ago, that was long before.
It was like, there used to be this calendar that's like, here's when all the trash
We
collections.
used it as.
I did have lots for.
Yeah, Westboro, actually.
Cindy Ridgway's
Yeah, they took
did it, and it was great, it was so smart.
Bill Martin was.
Yes,
Like a long.
It was a long time ago. But City Ridgeway, the real estate person,
Yeah.
does mimic what it
Yeah, it's
looks
very
like.
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
But it used to be, even they would, like, wouldn't they come in the mail? And then now
Yeah.
you have to like go to certain businesses and try to ask for one.
Yes, no, they would come in the mail. That was also the
Yeah.
Narberth newsletter, which came out like not very often, like maybe once a year. Okay, so that's enough. Anything else on fall planting prospects? Is there anything else we want to think of now? Getting people to sign up for trees.
Yeah, people.
Okay.
I mean, we want to take a few for Elm Grove.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did that volunteer planting there.
Yeah.
Election day with Peter Grove. And, just trying to be realistic with our parks plan. Yeah, I know, we're 10 years away from doing anything there. So I kind of want to look at that plan, so if maybe Rick and I and whoever else wants to go on a little walk
Yeah,
in there, because I kind of know construction phases that will happen eventually. So obviously I want to plant outside of, equipment zone and keep it, safe.
what do you mean, like Amtrak stuff?
Or just
No,
whatever
it's
they plan for the
just-
design.
Just
Doing-
what the borough does, I know we're planning to replace the pedestrian bridge.
Oh, that's right, I read about that.
Yeah, so we'd like to get that done in 26, so we'll kind of have to reshape, that corner,
Right.
and, be working with the Montco Conservation District, we can, I actually get some grant funding to kind of make the dead end of Elmwood, like basically this stormwater
Smart.
base there, filter before it hits the actual creek. So I just think, there's room, given how damp that area is, for a few choice trees and kind of allow them to grow and do their thing for the next 10 years or so before we really dive into. So then, when we are wrapped up with whatever the borough decides to do there, at least there's several trees that are, 15 to 25 feet tall, so it doesn't look completely new.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Okay, so next item is Arbor Day Tree City USA. So I've kind of hit a dead end on this, but I just can't find where the correspondence has been going. So I wrote to them, this is a while ago, but I didn't hear back. I hesitate to bother Maggie, but I'm wondering if it might be going to someone at the borough. I couldn't find it in any of our documents. It is the kind of thing that I would save to the Shade Tree Commission folder. I couldn't find anything. I found the speeches that I wrote for the mayor. We did, Rick and I talked about this. We did not do the Arbor Day this year. But Rick says they won't take our signs away. And they're usually pretty easygoing about like, oh, it fell off, okay, you can apply again. The one thing he mentioned though was that they have this like award we could get some kudos for from them, which is regarding growth of number of trees, because we did have that big, upswing. So anyway, Rick asked me, so I went again on the website today and looked again, but still not finding it. So just have to ask them again. Ask them 5 times, right? And that's the Arbor Day Foundation. And who knows? I mean, I read that their funding has been cut by enormous amounts. So I think really almost down to they're just a completely different, or will have to be a very different organization because they don't have the funding. So I'm sure they have a lot of staff to respond to requests about it. So that's Tree City USA. Does anybody have any questions about that?
So I'm sorry, what are you gonna do first?
I'm gonna try again.
Okay,
To get somebody to respond, but I do understand that I saw an article about how much the Arbor Day Foundation is losing in federal grant money. And we know how it affected the Philly tree plan.
so I'm sorry, so you're gonna contact them to find
Again.
out about, for what though?
Because I can't I'm not getting any, I had set myself up as getting the notice.
Oh, right,
And I
okay.
haven't received any
Okay.
notices. And when I tried to log in to reapply for our status,
Okay,
I wasn't able to. So at the time, I had corresponded with them, but I never heard back.
okay,
So I have to pursue it again.
yeah,
If they still have their jobs, maybe the person I was emailing got fired.
Jumping all around here, but in company medical right now, but jumping back to like advertising for the fall.
Oh, good. Yeah, yeah.
We talked about contacting the HSAs and the elementary schools for the kids that go. So, I mean, I can do that early in the school year.
yeah,
That HSA people, needs to know who they are anymore, but it's online, so we can send them information, and that might be a fun way. They said Thursday voters be a fun way to get the kids involved.
Yeah,
Might be a way to
we have
get
done that.
connected with people to plan.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, because we did that with the, the ones that are the public schools that Narberth kids go to. And it just completely fell flat, but I think that we're trying, I mean, why not? Because it didn't work another time, we can try it again. Especially for volunteers rather than trees, because we don't know
where people live.
where people live. And we probably
And I
have a
would
lot.
include like Belmont Hills is kind of split, so I would include like, our Earth is doing this, and if you're interested in Lower Marion, here's their contract.
Right,
Correct.
yeah.
So,
Okay, so do you want to take that off?
yeah,
Figure out
I'll
something?
do that, I'm school, to do it, so, but I'll do it
Yeah.
early in school year
minutes,
next
so-
year. In the minutes, so I'll remember.
But just keep in mind that we can't really be asking them about planting trees, we can ask them about volunteering work, but that's not planting it, right? Or, I mean, we could ask about trees, but that's a little late for the fall plant. Once they get back in school,
Well, maybe we'll ask about for the spring planting.
yeah, we could ask about spring planting and whatever.
It'd be too late, I mean, if we did it immediately. I guess.
Once we know the deadline,
You know,
we'll know the deadline.
get the flyer and then they either act on it or they don't.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Let's do everything within reason that we have the manpower to do.
I mean, we just probably go, they have like a weekly newsletter. and
Yeah.
just attach to that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, number 7, expenses. Is there anything else that, Christina, did you?
Jeff got it.
Okay, good.
Split, I think the last.
And all the
meeting.
trees got paid for before they were planted, right? So we don't have anything pending right now.
No, your total spring, so I'm looking at the spreadsheet now. Your total spring planting for everything, from gator bags, refreshments was 3,700.
Okay,
So the way, or within my budget for public works lies shade tree maintenance and planting, which is where we account for your spring and fall plantings. We did get a bump in that last year, so it's now at 20,000.
yeah,
So the way I just work it in my head is, I just kind of plan for $5,000 in spring, $5,000 in fall, and then I use the other 10 to trim trees around the park. So we are right on track to work.
good. Okay, number 8, downtown tree plan mapping exercise. Is that something you and Rick were talking about?
So I actually found the original presentation map from when they were doing the draft drawings for the downtown.
Okay.
So that really shows every tree that's on there. So I took a picture of that. I'm going to work with Kelsey this week to kind of add the graphics of where newer trees are, especially at the town.
Okay,
And then I'll send it to Fast Signs to get them to print it on their plotter.
Okay.
So we can get, 10 or 12 copies, just so we can kind of scale,
Is that in Canva? What do you do that in? Or is it in like a Google thing?
She's a wizard. She does
Oh,
her
okay.
stuff, I walk away, I can fix motors, I can replace sewer pipe. There's all this
Good
stuff where it's
job.
lickety flash.
Yeah.
You can have him, I wonder how.
I'm sure she's not using Canva. I would think she's using something else.
More
But yeah.
sophisticated, yeah. That's
That's
interesting.
great.
Okay, so maybe in the September meeting, we can talk about.
Yeah, and before, we opt to go spend the money to get it printed, I'll send that out just for the.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. So I'll just note here that you'll update us in September. Sooner is fine too, I mean. Okay.
Thank you.
Item number 9, subdivision and land development. We see a note here that says there is no news, as far as you know, you haven't heard of any new.
There's nothing, just nothing in the pipeline from what I've heard.
There's a lot of kerfluffle on the south side about the, Jason, the guy who owns the old church. And now there's all kinds of kerfluffle about that, so figure we'll wait and see before the shade tree has anything to do. But meanwhile, I'm getting a lot of very energetic emails. They're outraged about the end of the world as we know it.
Isn't that what they wanted? They didn't want anything there.
I can't remember
That's what
they wanted.
they did
I just
not want
remember talking
anything
to
there.
him like before he even tore the way before. I feel like I've known that guy for 15 years. Okay, so number 10, STC website. Well, I guess when you're talking to Kelsey, you might hear more.
It sounds like it's going to be, it sounds like taking my time on it will really benefit it because they're going to have something amazing and are we going to have, is it going to be a content management, like where we can edit ourselves or?
I think all edits will be done by Kelsey or Maggie, so yeah.
They'll probably ask it to be in some format or something.
Great. And I bet you, I'm sure that all the boroughs, because now we don't even really have a page, right? Like
Right,
a lot
but
of
we will. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, my last job, I had to do that. Like people would send me content, but I was the only one who could actually.
Yep. That makes
Well, that means that I'm going to say this communications issue might really rise to the top in the fall because we might want to consider, now that we'll have the website as a place where information can sit, we can actually put some smart thinking into what do we want there, what are some things we haven't done or we consider doing that we might do, like maybe have our Instagram thing be based on sort of a calendar when we put things up on Instagram and stuff. Like we can even create like a communication strategy, which would be great. What? Well, it's going to be a lot less work if you.
It's all there. Folks go there and they can, the form is there.
a link will be so great. An easy link to remember will be great for all of our stuff.
Good. Well, are there any other items of interest or action that anyone wants to raise? Yeah, go ahead.
I always have something, sorry.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not sure if you all received the tree removal permit for Essex Avenue.
No.
So the Pilates studio, I think, 109 Essex, that tree, in the past couple of years, the tree roots actually penetrated the foundation, twisted the foundation to where it shattered the window out front.
Oh,
So now the permit, has submitted, the permit to get it taken out just because of the damage that it's causing to the building and the sidewalk.
Like the architects.
that's the honey locust tree. That's a honey locust, right?
Pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
It's not a,
It's a mess.
and that sidewalk is tight there.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Yeah.
So they're gonna remove it and then close the tree hole?
This was just so I haven't followed up with her to see what the content of the end goal is. Because I would also, spots that aren't suitable for an in-ground tree. I
Oh.
talked about buying like larger flower pots to where we could leave the tree in there for 4 or 5 years, and then we could pop it out, plant it, in a
Yeah.
park somewhere. Just so we have that kind of tree coverage, that kind of matches our ordinance.
That is a very hot block
Yeah.
with very little shade. In the summertime, that's
And those other trees down that they kept, Tim Rubin's properties are also kind of gnarly as well.
well, I was
There.
thinking more about how you have the offices past the Pilates studio.
Yeah,
And they have these sort of driveway slopes on them. So you couldn't plant there, but
Mm.
on a summer day,
Yeah,
that
that's-
block
it is roasting, yeah.
really hot, zero shade, so. Okay, Jeff, well, thanks. Well, keep us posted on that. Any other items we want to discuss? Okay, so I guess I'll say that, we want to reiterate that we do not have a meeting in July. We meet 11 times a year, not 12, so July is our month off. But a few of us may get together for an informal working meeting, and I'll be getting back to you about that date and invite you to it. I just need to check whether it can be the 8th or it needs to be the 5th, or whatever that other date was it the 14th or 8th. Awesome. Well, thanks, everyone. Thank you to the public. Oh, we have to vote, right? So I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting.
And there's, during the meeting.
Who seconded? Okay, so Dawn motion, Bettina seconded, all in favor, aye. Any opposed? 0. So the meeting is adjourned at 8:29 p.m.
Say motion and who's second?